Good morning and welcome to Earth and Sky. Thank you so much for joining us, those in person and those of you who are online. We appreciate your comments and your feedback. If you haven't already, please like our Facebook page and please subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're interested in more content, click the bell button on YouTube and you can sign up for to get notifications for as many of our videos as you would like. Today we are talking about reaching your full potential. So everybody has this amazing vast ability for full potential, and a lot of times you can see potential in somebody when you meet them. How many times have you met people and thought, I see so much potential in that person or this person or in yourself? You know that you have this capacity to reach full potential, yet maybe you don't quite feel like you've reached it yet. And you're not sure how to get there. How do you access this potential that you know is there, yet you just feel like you're kind of in this life of day to day? There's a few different things. First of all, is knowing your motivation. What's your desire? What do you want to reach? Naming it and knowing what it is the first key to having your potential and realizing what it is, because if you don't name it, if you don't know what it is you want, then how are you even going to know when you reach it, when you're there? How do you know that you have it? And how do you know which direction to go if you don't know what your motivation is and what your desire is? That varies for every person. It's so unique. So figure out what it is that drives you. What makes you really excited? What gets you up in the morning? What keeps you up at night because you're so excited thinking about the concepts, whether you're creative or whether you're really intellectual, whatever side of the spectrum you're on in any facet of life, name what it is that you want. Figure out where you want to be in life and picture yourself there. See what it looks like to you to be successful. See what it looks like to you to reach your full potential. Does it involve other people or is it just you on your own? Does it mean amassing a lot of things or does it mean that you've achieved something intellectually or creatively or whatever it is, whether it's helping a humanitarian cause, whatever it is? Think about what it is and see yourself in that position so that you can recognize it when you get there and so you can create the roadmap to get there as well. The other thing that's really, really crucial in reaching your potential is having a need and making it a priority, because it's one thing to think you know what your potential is and you can see it and you would enjoy being there. But if you're kind of comfortable with where you're at and you feel satisfied in some ways with where you're at, if when you come home from work you just sit on the couch and you watch some shows and then suddenly it's time for bed and you think maybe I should have done something but you don't, then you're satisfied enough with that and you're not feeling that need within you to reach higher or that need to make a shift and a change. So you have to find what ignites that fire within you to make it a need and to make it a priority, whether it's naming it and then really seeing it, or whether it's seeing how your life will be if you continue on the same path doing the same things. In 3 years, are you going to be satisfied, or does that create a need and a desire that's strong enough to change within you? But recognize without judgment and without criticism what it is you're doing now that is a priority. There's nothing wrong with having time where you are relaxing and where you're staying down and where you're just enjoying your evening. But if you're wanting to reach a potential that's different from that plan, then you need to recognize what you're doing and recognize that the only thing that's going to change it is if you change that passion within you and that need within you to fulfill whatever your mission is. And your mission is whatever you choose it to be. So figuring out what it is that is driving you and then finding ways to manage that. So once you know what it is and once you create that burning desire within you so that you want to reach it and that's more important than whatever else it is that you're doing in the moment, then it's time to organize and figure out how do you manage a plan to create it. So if you see yourself there, you feel that strong desire, you're ready to do that shift, whatever the shift is, then create a roadmap, because just wanting it, just feeling the need isn't going to make it happen either. You have to have steps that you're going to take that are action steps that you do every day. Drop it down into bite-sized pieces so it's not an overwhelming thing of I want to change my life and I want to have all of this. Well, that's a way too overwhelming to make it happen today. So instead, drop it down into bite-sized bits. Figure out what you want your theme to be for this month, and then what you want to prioritize within 1 week. What can you get done? And then if you're going to get that done in the week, then what do you have to do each day? Drop it down into those morsels and then write it down, because writing is really powerful, and writing is going to be a way to keep you on track and hold you accountable. You can also come up with an accountability partner too. So if you have somebody that you're talking to that wants the same thing, they want to change their life and to reach their full potential, then set up an accountability partner and talk to them about what your goal and what your vision is, and ask them what their goal and their vision is, and then create that calendar where you're writing down what you need to do each day, and then talk to each other and figure out, are you on track with this? And are they on track with it? And then if you know you're being held accountable to somebody and you need to talk to them to let them know if you're doing your steps, that's really motivating a lot of times, to know that you have somebody you're checking in with. And it's not just you putting it off for another day and another day. So come up with who would be in your life that you could have as an accountability partner. And then watch out for getting sidetracked, because quite frequently when people come up with a plan and they get the vision and they start to feel the need, then suddenly they see a shiny object over here and it takes their attention, and then they get busy, and then a month later they're like, oh, I was going to reach my potential and I have that plan. Where did I put that paper? So be very mindful of getting distracted and sidetracked. And when you start to see that happen, draw yourself back into feeling what that need is, what that desire is within you. Because when you create that and you arouse the emotions behind it that fuel that passion, then it's going to become a lot easier to be able to stay on track and to stay focused, and to recognize that as you tick down each of those steps, that you're doing it for a purpose, and that you're seeing yourself moving closer and closer to that plan. And then you can celebrate with your accountability partner. After a week, get excited and talk about the changes that you've made already. And then in a month, once you set up your accountability partner and you figure out your plan, in 1 month, plan a celebration date. Whether it's on the phone with them and you share what things you did, or if they're in an area where you can both get together, then get together and go to dinner and talk about what you're doing and the progress you're making, and how you're both reaching your full potential and how you're on the track to reaching that. And a lot of time, I've actually heard a couple different times where people have talked about when you're really stuck in the day-to-day, and if you're in a situation where you're struggling just to survive, and you're struggling to put food on the table, or you're struggling to be able to make rent, sometimes it makes it harder to think about the bigger issues and to dwell on pondering about the cosmos and to ponder about how to better yourself. But sometimes that puts you in a really unique position to find your fuel and to find your purpose and what your desire is. And the funny thing is, I've heard that exact same thing from people who are CEOs too, that feel like they don't have time to ponder on getting better. They don't have time to ponder on the meaning of life and things because they're so busy with their business venture. So you get excuses on both ends of the spectrum, but truly they're both just excuses. It's about making the time and prioritizing yourself, because this is the only life that you have, and you have the chance to make this life whatever you choose it to be. And whether you're choosing it or not, you are creating the life that you're living, and this is the one life that you have. So choose consciously, choose wisely, and create what you want instead of just allowing life to happen and allowing time to flow by. And if you have certain excuses that you're coming up with why you can't do this, or why you don't have time, or why you wish you could do it, then recognize those as just excuses. Write them down. Don't criticize or judge them either. Just recognize what those thoughts are so that you can release them, because it's important to not just bury them and think that you'll overcome it, but recognize what those thoughts are, and maybe envision people that you might see as role models who've overcome that, and see, again, go back to that vision of what you want to be, what your full potential is to you, and then see how you can break that down into what those aspects are emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Look at all of the different sections of where you want to be to reach your full potential. Your outside world truly does reflect your inside world. So if you feel like you're in a life that is not supporting you and you feel like you're just not where you want to be, but it's because all of these exterior factors are preventing you from it, recognize that whatever's going on in the outside truly is what's going on the inside, and that is very empowering, because when you recognize that, you realize that you can take down any of those walls and those barriers to your success by simply tuning into yourself and fine-tuning and figuring out what you want to change and tweak and eliminate and draw in, because all of that power really is within you. So see what your outside world looks like to know what's going on within. That reflects in many different ways. It reflects in the people that are around us. It also reflects in the state of our house. Have you ever noticed that if your house is really chaotic and very cluttered, then you're probably feeling pretty chaotic and cluttered at the moment too. You might feel like there's a lot of things going on and you just need to clear through it. Clean your house and you'll start to notice that you can clean your life as well. That even works within closets. You can see where the cosmic dust thoughts are in your brain by looking at your closets and figuring out what you need to clean out. It's another one of those wonderful ways that anything that's going on in our life we can fix from many levels. You can go and address it mentally, you can go and address it physically, spiritually, or emotionally. Sometimes addressing the physical is the easiest to do because we're physical creatures in this life. We're physical beings on a physical planet. So if you address those aspects physically, you're going to notice automatically it starts to trickle in mentally, psychically, emotionally. So figure out where you need to clear those things up so that you have the space to create and reach your full potential. So you can make that roadmap for your full potential. And truly, when you love what you do, it isn't work, but it does take effort. So I hope that all of you are able to figure out what your true potential looks like to you. Figure out what living a life full of your potential means to you in your mind, because it's a very individual thing. And then see how living that life is something that you would love. Because usually, if you picture what you are in your full potential, it's something that you love, and you feel like you would be so happy if you were doing that all the time, if this was the picture of what your life is. And so that's another good way to figure out what it is. Look at what you love and know that when you're living that, then it really isn't work to get through every day, but it's still going to take effort. It's still going to take finding the time and the motivation to do the things that you need to do to continue living that. Even once you reach it, it takes a lot of effort because you have to maintain it. But once you reach that place, you're going to find that your passion takes over too, and your drive takes over because you're excited about what it is you're doing. You're excited about what your life looks like. And when you do that, you can also start to recognize that you are the owner of your life. Nobody else owns your life. Nobody else dictates what it is you're supposed to do or you have to do. And when you recognize that truly you are the owner of your life, then you can realize that you also write the script for your life. You consciously create your life. So take that power back into yourself. Feel that power within your heart, feel that power within your soul, and allow that to be your soul's desire and your urge and your passion and your motivation. Create that plan, drop it down into bite-sized, day-to-day bits, even if it's one or two things that you do differently. If you decide you want to write a list of what things you're doing now that aren't in line with your life's purpose and what things you're doing now that are in line with your life's purpose, and all those things in the middle that need to shift back and forth. And then you can start really seeing, you're going to notice a big difference just within a month, and imagine your life within a year if you do something, even one or two little things every single day to get you to where you're living your life's purpose. And I hope that helps you. I hope you enjoy this beautiful week ahead and really take some time to think about what your life's purpose is, what motivates you, and how you can do that, because I see that potential in each and every one of you here, and I know that potential is in each and every one of you who are watching us too. Thank you so much. Remember to like and share our videos, and we look forward to any comments and feedback you have as well. See you next week.